Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Let me check real quick and make sure that I have actually gone live where I intended to go live. Yep, looks like it's working. Actually, I can't tell. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, welcome, everyone. My name is Christy Varner. And sorry, I'm like all fidgety this morning. My name is Christy Varner, and I want to welcome you and thank you for being here today. I am streaming on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Christy Varner. If you are watching from there, I would love for you to hit subscribe so you will know when we have more updates. Plus, it will help me get my own channel name, which would be super helpful so that I don't have to remember all those crazy letters. Also, I am streaming in my Facebook page as well as in our private Facebook community for entrepreneurs and small business owners. It's called Small Business Finance Simplified. If you're not yet part of our community, we would love for you to jump in and join. It's where I drop accounting and finance tips, trainings, and strategies. And I train here every week for you. And also, I love for you to share what you know so that we can all learn from each other, because we are all, including me, small business owners. So we're all in this together. So today, I just want to talk to you guys about PPP updates. So there is a lot going on, As you jump in, say hi, let me know that you're here. I would love to know that. But let me first just say welcome. We have a lot of new members who have joined our group and who have tuned in. And so I just want to say hello. I want you to know that I am here for you. I am supporting you. I am Christy Varner. I am a virtual CFO and profitability strategist. I've been a CPA for over 25 years, and I'm passionate about helping small business owners make sense of their numbers so that you can see that that is the golden insight to achieve the goals that you have in your business. And it really is, you guys, it really, really is. And it does not need to be hard. I'm an accidental CPA, which just means that I am not passionate about the accounting and finance. What I'm passionate about is helping you gain control of your finances. And the way to do that is by using accounting and finance. So I explain it using simple everyday words and analogies, because I believe we all need to have those tools to make it easier. So anyway, I just wanted to say welcome. So let me tell you that the Biden administration released some changes to the PPP program on Sunday, 2/21. Today, right now, is Thursday, 2/25, 2021. I'm telling you the date because you will find that there's a lot of misinformation out there right now about this stuff. And I am positive Pollyanna, so I do not believe that anyone is trying to mess you up. So just know that. But what I will say is that this program has changed significantly and often since it first started back in March of 2020. Lots of changes through the time. And what has happened is things have replaced old things, right? Like, so what the rule was has changed. So it's really important to stay updated. That's why I would love for you to know that I will update you as I see stuff. I understand that it's constantly changing and that you want to know. So as I see changes, I will update that within our group, and I will also do videos and happy to answer your questions. If you see something that I haven't talked about yet, then point it out to me, because I'll go read it for you, because I know. So just know that if you are looking back and you're trying to understand PPP, there's some things, the basics of it, that you can understand, all the way back from March that have not changed, but a lot of the smallest rules have changed. So that's why it's really important to stay up to date on this. So on Sunday, the Biden administration released some changes to the PPP. And these changes that we're going to talk about today are meant to really, really benefit the smallest businesses. As it turns out, 98% of small businesses actually have fewer than 20 employees. So there are some changes that will affect those smallest businesses. And I know a lot of you, my viewers and my business friends, that's where you are. That's who I work with a lot, is those of you with less than 20 employees. And a lot of you are solopreneurs, and you're self-employed, side gig, freelancers, you know, all of that. And so these rules are really, really specific to you. So what I want to do first, though, I want to go back and give a little bit of overview for the PPP, just to sort of help you reset and reframe this. So there have been 2 rounds of the PPP so far. So the rounds are when the government released them, if you will. So last March, the first round was released, and that came out, and it ended in August. The second round was approved in December, at the end of December of 2020, and came out, was available starting in 2021. So I'm really calling it the 2020 round and the 2021 round. And that was just the chunk of money that the government made available, okay? So there are different draws on that, the amount of money you can take. So you may have been able to take money from that first round. So you took a first draw. And then when the second round came out for 2021, you got to come back and take a second draw, okay? But some of you didn't get money the first time around. But when the second round came out, you went ahead and took a first draw. So your draw is just, you know, how many times you have taken it, and then the rounds are the government putting the money out. So I hope that helps simplify and clarify that for you a little bit. So anyway, so we are now in our second round, and this money is available until the end of March. March 31st is when this round of money expires. And the calculation of the loan is based on, if you have employees, it's based on payroll costs, and it's 2.5 months of your payroll costs for Schedule C filers. So that is single member LLCs. That's a lot of you guys. And also those who are just self-employed, you haven't even set up an LLC or any kind of entity like that. You are an independent contractor, self-employed, freelancer, however you want to call it. You are someone who files your business as a Schedule C. So the calculation of the loan was based on line 31, which is net profit for Schedule C. Now that's the old rules, and we're going to talk in a minute about how that has changed for those of you who are Schedule C. So if you are a Schedule C filer, I would love for you to let me know so I can see. I'm looking over to see if I can see comments. It's a lot to keep up with. Hopefully this is working. Ooh, I don't see if it's working, but anyway, okay, we're just going to trust that it's working. Anyway, oh, I do see comments. Sorry about that, guys. It's just, goodness, some days. Yes, okay, I see it. So, let me tell you about the changes. So there are like 4 or 5 changes that the Biden administration released, but the 2 biggest changes, the first one is that for the next 14 days, which actually started yesterday on Wednesday, 2/24, and goes through 5 p.m. Eastern on March 9th, for the next 14 days, the SBA will only be accepting PPP applications for businesses with less than 20 employees. So like I said earlier, 98% of you have less than 20 employees. So this is great news. And it's not that you couldn't have applied before, but I think a lot of us with less than 20 employees were having trouble, getting sort of to the front of the line with the lenders, right? Because the lenders have a lot to deal with. So this is going to sort of fast pass you to the front of the line, if you will, and give you that time to have it just be you. One question that has come up is, will they run out of money? I don't think that they're going to run out of money. They've used about half of the money so far. They've approved about half of the money. I think 140 billion has been approved from when this started on January 11th to 2/21. And there's 284 billion out there. But keep in mind that for the next 2 weeks, it's only the very smallest micro businesses that will be able to get the money. So I don't think there's a reason to panic, even if you have more than 20 employees and you're like, oh no, now I'm, down at the end of the line. I do not believe that there's reason to panic on that. And I believe that they'll look at that if that starts to happen. So, it's anyone's best guess, of course, but that's what I think. So for the next 14 days, if you have less than 20 employees, you can go ahead and apply for your PPP for your first round or your second round. If you have not applied before, if you have not received a draw before, this is your first draw, then the rules that were out back in March still apply. And if you have a second draw, you need to show that you had a 25% decline in gross receipts for 1 quarter of 2020 over the corresponding quarter of 2019. You don't have to do that for your first draw. So, and that is not a change. The change is the 14 days for those with less than 20 employees. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that. I will say compensation for employees is capped at $100,000. So that means the most that you could get for one employee would be $20,833, which is 100,000 divided by 12 times 2.5. So if you are a Schedule C filer, so that means you're self-employed, you are an independent contractor, a gig worker, side hustle, or a single member LLC, this is the second big change. So the calculation for you has changed. A lot of you will know that the way the calculation worked was that you took line 31 from Schedule C on your tax return, and that was considered your payroll number. So you divided that by 12 and multiplied by 2.5. Well, that line is net profit of your business. And so for a lot of you guys, like, it's hard to run a business, right? And so you may be bringing in money, but especially for those of you that are early days or it's just been tough times, right? Your profit number may be significantly less than the amount of money that you bring in. Or you may even be in a loss position. And if you were in a loss position, you didn't qualify for PPP until now. Okay, so you guys, this is big news. You now qualify because the calculation is going to change from being line 31 on your Schedule C to being instead gross receipts. That's a huge difference. That's the money that's coming into your business instead of the money that's left over in your business. So for those of you that have not been able to apply before because you were in a net loss position, you are now able to apply. There is a little bit of confusion about whether or not you can apply, even if you just have a really small number, and now you could just take the larger number. This is being compared to Schedule F filers, which are farmers and ranchers. And when the changes came out in December, they were able to go with gross receipts. And so my guess is that you will be able to do that. Now, I say guess because we don't actually know yet. Remember that I told you that the Biden administration released this on Sunday. Today is now Thursday. So that means that the SBA and lenders are scrambling to get this instituted. So what I would tell you is I would not encourage you to take advantage of that 14-day window if there's a substantial difference for you between your net income, line 31 on your Schedule C, and your gross revenue, especially obviously if you were in a loss, you couldn't be filing right now. But let's just say that you were in a very, if you were in a small amount for your line 31 versus your gross receipts, you can potentially get a huge benefit and change from this change in the calculation. But we don't exactly know yet, because what happens anytime that these are passed, the government or Congress or the administration makes the change, and then the SBA and Treasury have to get together to sort of figure out, okay, well, how does this actually look? What are the actual guidelines going to be? And work then with the lenders, with the SBA lenders, to put together an application, a form for all of us. So that's where we are right now. So the maximum amount of compensation will not change. So the maximum amount, if your line 31 is $100,000, then that's already the max that you could get. If not, then you may get a change. You may get more money. So I would encourage you to think about that and to consider waiting. Reach out to your bank, to the lender that you dealt with the first time. Here's another thing. Get your 2020 financials done. I know a lot of you have been putting that off for various reasons, and I understand that. But this is a really good time right now to hurry up and get that done. Let me know if you have questions. It's really important. I did 2 weeks ago bookkeeping and why it matters and kind of a basics on it. So please go back and watch that. There are other videos, but really, like, this is the time right now while we're waiting on the SBA to give us that application. You obviously won't know your number if you have not finished your financials. So it's really important to record that information and get that done. So what to do now? If you already if you have less than 20 employees and you're able to go ahead and apply, and you're not Schedule C, I would go ahead and do that. Also, if you're Schedule C and your line 31 is $100,000 or more, you may as well, in my opinion, go ahead and apply, because that's the maximum that you could get. If you're Schedule C and your line 31 is less than $100,000, but your gross receipts are more than $100,000, I would encourage you to wait for a few more days until we get some more information out about what's going on with that. So I think that's all that I wanted to tell you about that. I did want to answer a couple of questions that came in. If you have more questions, then please do pop them into, I'm trying to look to see if I can see. I don't see this on Facebook. I'm hoping that we are live. I don't know. It's not showing up on mine, but that's all right. Surely it's on there. But I did want to talk about the forgiveness of PPP, because I did get a question about that. So PPP forgiveness, this has been a big thing because it's gone back and forth. If you've seen any of my past videos, I don't want to reiterate all that because it will probably confuse you, but let me give you the bottom line of where we are right now. Because like I said, this is fluid, but this is the latest and this is what applies. So, and I think this is what is going to stick. So PPP if you have not yet been forgiven for your PPP, when you first apply, it's just a loan, right? So that has nothing to do with income, because that's just on your balance sheet, and your balance sheet does not result in taxable income. So, but when Congress changed or passed the second round in December of 2020, they also clarified that the PPP income, that it's income when it's forgiven, right? Like they gave it to you as a loan, and then they were like, okay, you proved that you used it for the things we asked you to use it for, so now you do not have to give it back to us. So that becomes income. And I have encouraged you, when you record that on your financial statements, take it out as a loan. So if you're using your journal entries, that would be that you would debit your loan and you have to credit income. I would name that a separate category called non-taxable other income. Make it stick out. Non-taxable PPP income, whatever you want to call it, but make it stick out so that it's easy to see. So you will have that income and you're like, oh no, that's income, but you're going to call it non-taxable income so that when your tax advisor sees it, they are going to be able to take that off. So it is not taxable for federal income taxes, but let me tell you that states have their own rules, and some states have determined that they are going to tax this income. I know it's not happy. Now, do keep in mind that state taxes, the percentages are much less than federal. However, I know we were not wishing for that. And I do think that some states right now that are saying they're going to tax it won't end up taxing it. But I do want to show you right now this. I'm doing a share screen so that you can see it. So this is a map of the states that have said whether or not they will forgive. So if they whether or not they will tax it. So the green states, they will not tax the PPP income, just like the federal government. They're lining up with the federal government. The orange states, they will tax, and the gray states are ones with no income tax, no state income tax. Now, let me just tell you that I'm here in Texas, and I was like, what is this? Because we don't have state income tax in Texas. And so it's weird, and I know Florida doesn't either. So it's kind of a weird thing that some of these are showing that there is state income tax, even though it doesn't look like that. So what this means right now is that there's some sort of tax that the state has determined they will make on that forgiven PPP. This is super fluid. So I definitely, this is from MarketWatch. Tax Foundation also has this out. I really, really want to encourage you that we don't know enough about this part yet. So keep watching that. And I will say, I'm going to put the White House briefing from the Biden administration as a link in here so that you can see that. So you can read it yourself. I'll also put a link to the SBA. Keep that bookmarked. Keep looking. Like I said, if you are following me, keep up with notifications about when I'm speaking and things that I post, because I will let you know. But a lot of this is really fluid. Here in Texas, we just had a snowstorm. And so for those of you here in Texas, I want you to know that we have had an extension of the tax filing deadline for businesses and individuals until June 15th. So you have some extra time to figure things out if you're here in Texas, where we're just trying to recover from the snowstorm and all the damage that was caused. But so that thing on the state taxing of the forgiveness, I know that's like not super fun. But I do think that some of the states will probably, hopefully, change and decide not to tax that. But that is where we stand right now. So I would keep watching that also. So thank you for asking that question. The other question that we had was about ERTC. So does my business qualify for ERTC? A quick on that, ERTC is Employment Retention Tax Credit. It's also called employee retention tax credit and employee retention credit. So ERTC or ERC are the ways that you see that. This is unlike the PPP. That PPP is like long, oh my goodness. But it felt fairly straightforward to me. ERTC, even as a 25-year CPA, I had to stop and be like, what are they saying? It's a little bit complicated, but I want to show you again. I'm going to share my screen and show you. I made a decision tree. So this is for 2020 on do I qualify, because it is complicated, and it's easier with a decision tree to go back through and say, you know, were my gross receipts for at least one quarter in 2020 less than 50% of gross receipts for the same quarter in 2019? You know, it's just yes, no, all the way through. So that should be helpful to you to see that. And then it shows you taxability. And there's a separate one for 2021 that I made. And then from there, sorry, where is, oh, couldn't find Excel. There's also a calculation that works out by employee and then summarizes for how much your tax credit would be. I did an extensive training on this last week, so search back for that. And I am going to be sharing this calculation and decision tree, as well as I have limited availability for consultations on ERTC if you are interested in that. So I will be putting all that information up later today. So let me just see real quick if you guys have any questions. Hey, Bethany, good to see you. Okay, I definitely had questions. I had a loss on my taxes last year and especially this year. Yes. Okay. So if you are a Schedule C filer, which it sounds like you are, so this is where it definitely seems like you would be able to then qualify. So if you had a Schedule C line 31 loss, we're still waiting for the application to come out. So just, you know that you couldn't do it anyway until we get this application from the SBA. But yes, it does look like you will then be able to qualify for PPP. So you likely were not able to qualify for the first draw on PPP because you had a loss. So now you will be able to. So you will use your gross receipts as your number and divide that by 12 and multiply by 2.5. So that should be hugely helpful for you. So I'm sorry that if you grant StreamYard permission, then it tells me your name. And I don't know why, you guys. Like I even, you know, sometimes I set up this separate screen so that I could see you guys when you make your comments, but somehow I didn't do it right. So sorry about that. I can't see who is commenting. But if you tell me your name, then I can answer that. Okay, is this for a loan forgiveness? I hope that I answered that question already with what I just talked about, but if I didn't, will you clarify that for me? Because I would be happy to answer that question. So the PPP, like I said, the loan forgiveness. Also, if you did the first draw and you now could go back and get more money, if you have not applied for forgiveness yet, then you can get more money. That came out with the 2021 new round. So just wanted to let you know that you can go back. If you have already applied and received your forgiveness, it looks like you won't be able to go back and get more. These are all the things that are still kind of fluid. So like I said, keep up to date, keep that SBA website, look at that. You know, always go to your good source documents, you guys. Like don't just go to random people. I'm always on IRS.gov or SBA or whatever. And I'm not a tax advisor. I'm a financial accountant and CPA. Strategy is what I love. I love helping you guys get profitable and achieve your goals without sacrificing happiness. But anyway, are they doing the EIDL loans again? I've not. There's nothing new about EIDL right now. I don't think. I mean, honestly, my brain is fried. I'm going to go back and look at that. I'm so sorry. I don't think there's anything new on EIDL right now. But my brain is really, really on ERTC and PPP at the moment. So I'm going to go back and look at that, and I will answer you. So thanks for sharing that. And I hope that you'll know my brain just full. Oh, I love this. I don't know if you say that, Lashia, but I love that. Thank you for saying. So do not apply for the first draw today. Wait for an application from the SBA. So that is, you can go ahead and apply for a first draw if your line 31 is over $100,000, then you don't need this change, right? Because the maximum amount that you could get if you're single member or sole proprietor is $20,833 for one person. So that's your line 31. So if you made $110,000 on your line 31, you're fine, because that's the maximum. It doesn't matter if your gross income is $200,000. If you have $100,000 or more on your line 31, then you can go ahead and apply now. If your line 31 is less than $100,000, or you're in a loss, so that gross receipts will be a better number for you for that calculation, meaning you would get more in the PPP loan, then I personally would go ahead and wait for a few more days for the SBA. Like I said, I'm not in a panic that the money is going to run out, but you know, these are just conjectures. This is my best guess on 25 years of experience as a CPA, but we don't know. So please don't take this. Nothing I am saying. That's my disclaimer. You're not my paid clients. I'm just trying to help you. But that would be what I would say. Okay, what application would apply to me? Schedule C. As a Schedule C filer, everything is the same. You file everything the same. It's just how you determine your loan calculation. Okay, so your loan calculation, if you weren't a Schedule C filer, would be based on the payroll, your 941s. If you are a Schedule C filer, then your payroll is considered line 31 of your Schedule C. So it's not that the application is changing, it's the calculation. But I do believe that because they're changing the calculation, so we're now essentially going to have a difference in the calculation for Schedule C filers and for others. I believe that they will either come up with a whole new application, or that they'll modify the current application. So that will be released. That will be an SBA application, either new or modified, and it will be on SBA.GOV. As soon as it comes out, I will let you guys know too, as soon as it comes out. So keep checking in with me. Like I said, hit subscribe, join Small Business Finance Simplified, our Facebook community, if you're not part of it yet. I keep you updated on all the things accounting and finance that I know of. And if you hear of things, then just ask. But no different application yet, but I do think that there will be some modification or a brand new application. Oh, yes. Oh, good. I answered the forgiveness question. Okay, good. That makes me so happy. Okay, you guys, I do not see any other questions. So I have already been going 30 minutes, and I try to keep these brief, but there's just a lot. And I want you guys to know that I am here for you. I am cheering you on. I am wanting to answer your questions. Oh, wait, let me see. Oh, we already answered that one. Oh, it's because I went back up. Sorry. Okay, I think I got them all. So, if you want help, please reach out to me, Chrissy@victoryadvisory.com, or you can book a consultation on victoryadvisory.com. I would be happy to help you. I will be posting later a link to the ERTC decision tree and calculation. And I will also check back on this video in the comments, just tag me. I'm not as great about checking comments on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube, come on over to Small Business Finance Simplified Facebook group. The link to join is victoryadvisory.com/FB group. And we're a very welcoming community. We would love to have you be part of it. Like I said, I will keep you updated as more things come up. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And I am cheering you on. You guys, you are the rock stars. You are employing America. And I am proud of you. And I am here for you. And you can do it. Until next time.